Hey there guys, Kim Henderson here from Just for Fun Cookie Co. Hope you're going well today. I'm just jumping in with another yummy recipe for Christmas, and these are our amazing pistachio, cranberry and white chocolate yo-yos. And the recipe, what I used to do was actually, the recipe has where you roll it out into like a log shape and then cut the shapes, but this time I actually rolled the dough out and I just used a little cutter that had the little scallop edge, and so they look a little bit pretty. And then the white chocolate filling in the middle, I've just added some red food colouring just so that they look a little bit prettier for Christmas. And they taste amazing, and I'm glad this one's actually in a bag because otherwise I'd want to eat them all. But it is a really, really yummy recipe, easy recipe, and everybody will love them at Christmas. So hope you enjoy it. Okay, so we're going to use the mixer for this. If you don't have a stand one, just use a handheld one. And we've got the 250 grams of butter, and we've popped in 3/4 of a cup of icing sugar, and just going to mix that all together until it's nice and smooth and light. And next we're going to add in the custard powder. So we have a 1/2 cup of custard powder, and it's best if you stop the mixer to pop that in because otherwise it goes everywhere. It still goes everywhere when you do this. Nice and fluffy smell of custard sugar in the air. And then you're going to mix that in so that it's all combined properly. And then we're going to just, make sure that you've pulled it all down from the sides. So stop it every now and then and scrape the sides down and just give it another mix so it all mixes in together. And then we're going to add the flour, which is 2 cups of plain flour. And I just pop that in as it's still mixing. I've got this on low, but this is on fast speed, so it looks like it's faster than what it is. So normally you have it on a bit slower so that you can incorporate the flour without it going all over your kitchen. Although usually I do that anyway. And then just stop it and try and use a spatula and try and pull it all down off the beater because you'll get a lot stuck on there. So it's kind of like a sticky consistency still, but not too sticky, if that makes sense. So you don't want it to be like getting stuck on you. Well, that was me. I just had a little lick. Do you ever do that? I got caught then. And now with my great filming again, where you can't see it, I've just pulled the bowl off and just getting it all off from around the sides before we pop it back there, and just give it another little mix to make sure everything is in. So putting the rest of the flour in, I did a double mix here. So from the recipe that I've popped below, I was making a lot, so I've just doubled the quantity. And so I'm just adding more flour. And you'll see the consistency as it comes at the end. Okay, so I'm just adding a touch of milk. You'll just have to play this by ear. It says 2 tablespoons, but you can just see if you don't want it to be too mushy, but you don't want it to be dry either. So if you can see that mixing in there, and I just want to try and bring it all together. We don't want to over mix. Again, I've got this on fast speed. So then it should just be all yummy looking like this, and we'll just scrape it down. As you can see my fingerprint there, so it's not sticking to my finger, but it's actually soft still. Yeah, that's a great consistency. And now we're going to grate some orange peel. I actually didn't have any oranges in the fridge when I went to look, so I've got a mandarin here. Still same thing, citrus, zesty flavour that you want. So you just want to grate a little bit of that on the side, and then we're going to chop up our cranberries, dried cranberries and pistachio nuts. I've doubled the recipe for me here, but you would do half a cup of the cranberries, and I think a third of a cup of the pistachios. And I just get the pistachio already shelled pistachios from the supermarket, and then we just chop them all up. Now we're going to pop that yumminess that we just chopped up into the bowl with the dough, and we're going to pop that on low to give that a good mix through. Now it's ready to pop out of the bowl. Look at that again, that looks so delicious, doesn't it? And it actually does taste delicious. I love eating a little bit of the dough as we go. So do my kids, they're a bit of a dough eater. They're always yelling out, "You're making dough!" Even the batter from cakes, they're all good, hey? To have a little lick of the last bit of the spoon at the end. So anyway, we're going to grab them off the side of the bowl. So get your hand in there and pull out all of the mixture. Again, you don't want it to be wet. It won't be, because before you put all the berries and that in, you should have checked that it was just nice and soft but not wet. And we're going to pop that onto a bend and knead it just into a ball so that it's all together. And then we're just going to divide, well, I divided this one up into 4 pieces. You can see how you go, because I had doubled my mixture, so you might just want to divide it into 2 and just make them into a ball. Make sure it's all joined. If you're wanting to do it the long way, you would just roll these into little longer lengths like a rod, and then glad wrap them and then pop them in the fridge till they're set, and then you can cut them into the shapes. But these ones I'm going to roll out, and we're going to use a cookie cutter to make the shapes. And then you're just going to pop some cling wrap on them, and we will pop them into the fridge. If you wanted to roll them into long logs, you can at this stage as well, and then pop them in the fridge with the glad wrap, and you can chop them into pieces once they're set. But this we're going to roll out and use a cutter. So just popping them in, not till they're really hard, just till they're kind of firm, and then we will roll them again. Okay, so now the fun bit. We are now going to roll them out between 2 bits of parchment paper or baking paper. If you have had it in the fridge for a little bit longer, you might need to roll the dough and push it around a little bit to make it a little bit more pliable. But I've just rolled it out to the shape that I want, and then I've just grabbed the cutter and I'm cutting through to create the shapes that I want, so that we can put these yo-yos together later on. And then grab them and pop them onto a lined baking tray, and you're going to pop them in a 160 degrees centigrade oven for about, well, check them in about 10 to 15 minutes. It does say half an hour on the recipe, but I found that it was cooking a lot faster than that. Maybe it was just because I had smaller shapes, so just keep an eye on them. They should just be a little bit brown, but not too brown. We don't want them burnt looking because they're a nice yo-yo, so just keep an eye on them, and they do firm up and cook a little bit more as they come out of the oven. Okay, so now we're going to do the white chocolate filling, and now just melted the white chocolate in the microwave until it's runny like this. Add your colouring. So if you want to have colour, you don't have to, but I wanted these to be a little bit more Christmassy, so I just added some red in and mixed that through. And as you know, the white icing is quite runny, so when you're lifting that up, it runs off the spoon very fast. So to make it firm up a little bit so that you can put it in between the cookies without it squirting out everywhere, I just add a little bit of butter. So you just have to take it easy with it. I've just scraped in little bits at a time, because you can make it go too far and it can get very solid very fast. So
You just have to play with that. As you can see, it's starting to firm up. It's still runny-ish, but it's starting to firm, and I know that it's going to firm a lot more once it's sitting on top of the cookie. So I'm just popping that into a bag. So you don't want it too runny where it's just going to run off the cookie, but you don't want it to be too hard that you can't even get it onto the cookie without it, going hard before you've put the lid on it. So cutting my hole on the disposable bag the size that I want it for the cookies, and I'm just going to turn over every second cookie just so that I know which ones I'm piping on. Okay, so you want to make sure that you've done it on the right side of the cookie, which is the wrong side. So you want the underneath of the cookie that you're piping onto, so that you've got your nice top bits on both sides when you put the lids on. So just make sure you're putting a nice dollop in the middle, and if it's running too much off the edge, then stop and wait till it sets a little bit more. With these, as you're going along, you might find they might be a bit sticky still to put the lid on, so just wait until they've gone a little bit more solid and you can pop the lid on and squish it down just a little bit so that's firm, but not so it's pushing the icing out the middle, and they should look like this on the side when you have them filled. They're yummy, yummy, yummy. And then I've just gone and packaged them. You don't have to, you can just pop them on your table if you're going to share them, but I've just packaged them into some bags so that we can actually sell them, but you can give them away as gifts. They're really pretty and they're really, really addictive. So once you do try these, you will love them and you might not go back to the normal yo-yo.
So how did you go? Did you enjoy that one? It's not too hard, is it? And they make delicious gifts for people or for yourself just to eat as a little snack during the day. But yeah, thank you for joining me again. If you haven't checked out my other ones, there'll be a link somewhere up here for you to jump on and have a look at those. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've been really busy, so I'm trying to keep up popping some things up for you, but I've got so many orders coming through for Christmas, so I'm trying to keep on top of those as well. So hopefully we'll have another good one. I have actually got something amazing up my sleeve for the next one, so I'm hoping that it'll be happening in the next few days for you, and look forward to sharing it with you then. I just heard a big blowfly fly past, so I'm not sure if you heard that. But here in Australia, we had a big electrical storm here last night, and today is going to be 30 to 37 degrees centigrade. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but here in Australia it's bloody hot. And so I'm going to put the aircon on and get cooking, but the flies love it here in Australia. They just love it when it gets to this weather, so they're always around annoying us. But anyway, if you hear something buzzing by, that's just a blowfly. Oh well, hope you have an awesome day everybody, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya!